Welcome to the Crazy Cool Family Podcast with Don and Suzanne Manning. Parents, what if we could give you the power to transform your family into something absolutely amazing?
A family where everyone is healthy, gets along, loves Jesus, and has great purpose in life.
Hey, let us flip your thinking to unlock the power God has given you to create your own Crazy Cool family. Crazy Cool Family Podcast people, do you want to be
The most amazing family you could be.
the most amazing parents you can be?
The most crazy cool family - parents you can be.
We have this amazing resource we call Basecamp. What is Basecamp? Basecamp is more than a podcast. It's more than a YouTube video. It's more than a Facebook post. It's
More than a website.
Yes.
It's more.
It's a membership site.
It's actually an invitation for you as parents to come in and learn from our 30 plus years of experience when it comes to parenting. It's filled with all sorts of videos about all the things that you need to or you could learn about how to be a crazy cool family.
So all you have to do, it's so easy to sign up. It's free. And
That's
we
a
give
really
you,
good price.
And you have access, You have access to all of our content every day, 24/7, on your phone, on your tablet, on your laptop. All you got to do is go to basecamp.crazycoolfamily.com. That is basecamp.crazycoolfamily.com.
Don't forget the dots,
Yes.
dot.
And it takes 2 minutes to sign up, and you'll start getting our weekly emails, our weekly Basecamp newsletter emails, as well as have access to all of our courses. You can do it in your small groups. You can do it individually. You can do it with your spouse. Basecamp is the way to learn to be a crazy cool parent.
So come on in. Come be a member for free.
Yep, we can't wait to connect with you.
Hey, all you crazy cool parents out there. I am so excited to be doing a podcast with one of my very best friends. We've known each other, I would say, since 1910, but you're not that old, so it's not that far back.
No, but almost. It's been a long time.
Forever. We've grown up together. And so Angie is my friend, Angie Seedorf, and she, I guess we met through Valley Creek. Yeah. And so she was on staff in like multiple roles. She basically would step in and fill in the gap anywhere that she was needed because she has been gifted with incredible leadership skills. She has a women's ministry in Wyoming that God has put on her heart, and it's been put on hold while she raises some mighty men of God.
Yes.
And then let's see, you've done retreats for these women, right? You've done, and then she's got a camp that she goes to. She's actually scooped Mackenzie up in her life and taken Mackenzie out there to be a counselor. She's mentored Mackenzie. She's gone on walks and loved Mackenzie well and helped her grow up. And
Love her.
what else am I missing?
No, I think one of my earliest memories of you at Valley Creek, our church that we go to, your oldest daughter was at my very first serving. She was at a ninth grade girls' table when they asked me to step in and lead at that table. And so I got to meet Molly. And it's so funny, our topic, I know I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but she's the first person that actually told me about MySpace. Back in, I don't know, that was like 2003 or something. I mean, it was a long time ago, but then getting to know you guys, you and all of them. But Molly was probably my first Manning to meet.
Oh my goodness. Wow. I forget about that one. I mean, not about Molly, but I forget about that we are intertwined, even all the way at that level. And so today we're going to continue our series about technology, and I brought Angie on because she is right in the middle of it. You've got 4 boys, right? Ages
10, 12, 13, and 17.
Exactly. So she's got all the bases covered. She's got elementary, middle school, and high school covered. Boys who are bent toward technology. Yes. And things are coming at us really fast as parents, as moms. And I was just telling her, I missed it. I mean, I had girls when technology wasn't that big of a deal. And then my boys are almost out of it. I mean, they're 15 and 17. And so they're almost, they do grow out of it. I just want to encourage you parents that your kids do grow out of that deep desire to always be on their phones and always play the games and stuff. And so Angie's going to be my parenting expert when it comes to what do we do? What do we do with what parameters do we build? What boundaries do we build? And so I just want to talk about that.
That's great. I know Suzanne's using the word expert loosely. Experience, yes. And a lot of lessons learned. So I guess.
Okay, but I want to redefine expert for you. It's anything you've done for 10,000 hours. Yeah. Have you parented?
I have.
Have you? Oh. Yes, and probably I don't know if you've added up the hours you've talked about and dealt with technology, but it's probably close to that.
It's a lot. It is.
But I like her humility. I like that a lot. Yeah. Okay, so just to start off with, I just want you to just to share your experiences about technology and how it's changed from when your oldest was the youngest, or just
right.
Your kids have literally grown up with it.
They have,
and you've grown up as a parent with it. You've had to be in front of the curve, or if you will, in front of what's happening.
Right, which has been a little bit of a challenge for me because I am not a technology person.
Yeah,
I am not.
same.
I am much like you, that I'm not attached to my phone. I remember a few years ago, my husband bought me an iWatch because he was so tired of never being able to get a hold of me because I'd never had my phone, never knew where it was, and I've never been attached to it. And so having kids who are born into, screens everywhere, and literally they can grab my phone and unlock things and do things that I'm like, oh, thank you, so it is a whole new world for them than it ever was for me. Like, even just thinking through today's talk I remember when I was a kid, the extent of our technology in our house was the landline phone in our hallway with a mile-long cord, and a box projection TV that didn't even have a remote yet. You could get up and turn the channel, and you had to get up off the couch.
And there were 4 channels,
yes,
or 6
right.
if you got, PBS. Yeah.
And we had the one person that when our show came on that the family watched, one person that couldn't leave the room during commercials because they had to yell for us, it's back on, because you couldn't pause it. Like, that's the world that I grew up in. And I miss it in some days.
Oh, yes, the simplicity of it.
Yeah, but that is so foreign to my children, to all of them. And so it's been interesting to just see the changes now, because now we have these things that are called phones, and they have no recollection of it being a long cord that stretched from your hallway into your room where you could talk privately. Now their phones are their GPS, their phones are their computers, their phones are their flashlights, their phones are their video. Their phones
and their
are
alarm clocks, and their music, and their connection to their friends, and their entertainment.
Their online gaming.
It goes on and on.
Yes, it is like their second lifeline. It's like, it's
well,
everything.
And I laugh because I think the phone that's in my pocket is more powerful and more valuable than the first computer that we owned. It does much. It's yeah.
Right.
Well, so how have you then charted the waters when it comes to this technology? Do all your kids have their own phone? And what age did you give them their phone? And what were the parameters you put around them when you gave them their phones?
Yeah. So a lot of this has been through trial and error. But Justin and I, whenever we've always kind of gone through this filter of they can have a phone when they need a phone.
Oh, that's
if we're
good.
taking them to school and we know that they're going to be there from this time to this time, and they know where we're picking them up, they don't really need a phone. We know where they're supposed to be. If they need us, they can go to the office. It's when they started needing a phone, or where it was going to be too overwhelming for me to try to manage the things that they needed a phone for. So really, it kind of came out at age 12. 6th grade was about when they started needing to respond to things, serving opportunities at church, where they were in leadership things at school and at church, and their coaches and their teachers needed to communicate with them directly through different apps and different things.
That's
and
good.
They stayed for practices before school and after school, and weren't always sure of pickup times. And so when it became a need, that's when we gave it to them, and that has been about age 12. So 3 of our 4 have smartphones. Our 4th is 10 years old, and he is dying. It's a weekly.
It's 2 more years.
Yes. And he's just like, Mom, why? I play my brother's phones half the time anyway. And so he's like, definitely. He's like our negotiator anyway. But we're like, until you have the need, And now I love our church, but they have kids leadership. So now they're starting to talk to them. I'm like, So he's like really, dealing and wheeling
Church
for
needs
this.
me to have a
I
phone,
need it
Mom.
now. So I don't know. We're trying to hold strong on the whole 12 years old thing, but that's kind of been our philosophy of when they have it. And then the different parameters that we set on them is also age appropriate. It's different for a 17-year-old than a 13-year-old and what they should have access to and time limits or bedtimes or, they just have different needs. And so we kind of look at that by case by case as well. We don't have a whole lot of just like hard, fast rules that apply to everybody all the time.
Yeah.
I love that. I think you guys say it all the time. Fair does not mean equal.
Right.
That's been like, especially in technology world.
Yeah.
It's just, you're at a different place developmentally.
That's good.
And in a lot of cases, our 13-year-old who's almost 14, he is so good at guarding his heart and his mind. And so there are a lot of parameters that we don't even have to like give him because he just does it naturally.
And that's the goal. I
Yes.
mean, that's the goal as parents is for our
Yeah.
kids to create and set their own parameters up. If they're not setting them up though, that's when we have to step in and help them.
Right.
So how did you help him do that?
Well, I want to say I could take some credit for that, but it really, he just has more of a sensitivity to things that are good for him, things that are healthy for him. He's always had just more of a sensitivity to the Holy Spirit. That's naturally, I really can't take much credit for it other than just creating environments where he could encounter the Lord and just trying to point out where God has been good and real and miracles in his life. And he's just been really sensitive to pick up on those and start finding them on his own. Which I feel like we've done that for all of them, but he's the one that's just been more in tune to do that. The other three, they're just wired differently. Like his brother, who's just a year younger than him, is just more concrete in his thinking, more black and white. And it takes bigger experiences with the Lord for him to like, oh, okay, I need to get that. I need to logically understand this before I really put faith in it. And so, but and our oldest, he is 17. He's probably the more of like, hey, I want any and all influence in my life. I welcome all the things, and I want to know it all and see it all and to do all of that.
So good.
And so a lot of that is just a lot of conversations with him.
That's
of like,
good.
okay, well, why do you want that? What do you think how is that going to benefit you? Do you see any harm that could come? Asking a lot of good questions to help him self-discover, but ultimately you can't control. At some point, they're on their own, and his day's quickly coming where he's going to be on his own, and just trying to help him make some decisions for himself, to have some self-restraint and not have parental restraint, if you will. So it's just a lot of questions and asking and discovery.
I love that. And what I love that you said too is that each of your kids and their bents, they're good and they're bad, if you will. And so where one needs more parameters than another one. And then I love it too that you've just taken into consideration their age, knowing that, oh, well, you're going to mature and it's going to be this, but right now it's this.
Right.
And so I want to know, how has the constant pull to screens affected your family dynamics, like your family time? Has there ever been a thing where you're like, it's dinner time, and they're like, let me finish our game,
yes. Can I finish this round?
Yeah, or they're on their phone at the dinner, like, what are your parameters, dinner table, or out to dinner, or just I just kind of want to know.
Right. So that's something. Again, when we had a few like basic when our kids first got phones or started being more interested in gaming and those kind of things, we start. Okay, let's have some times that it's appropriate to do that. We did. I started noticing a couple of things here. During the school year, it even looks a little different for us than during the summer.
Oh, that's good. That's
during
a good
the school
distinction.
year, they come home and they've got homework and they've got other responsibilities and things they have to do. And I started noticing boys either forgetting to do their homework or rushing through it where you could barely read it, or only doing part of it because they were just so anxious to be, okay, I got to get done with this so I can go play my games.
Yes.
And I can go connect with my friends online.
That's
and
good.
so we had to, we talked to them about it. We said, hey, this can't happen. Once we saw, okay, this is a battle that we're not winning here. It's still happening after a period of time and many reminders. We just made we're going to make a rule on this, that during the school year, for the most part, Monday through Thursday, we're just not going to do gaming. It's not that you can't be on your phone or you can't talk to friends. It wasn't all screens. It wasn't even TV shows necessarily. It was the thing that was drawing them away from their responsibilities.
Wow.
Okay, so let's just limit that. And then we do make exceptions. Hey, you have no homework today. Okay, that's great. You've done your responsibilities at home. great, you can go play, So it's not like a hard, fast rule again, but it was like, for the most part, the kids know Monday through Thursday, it's just not even an option.
That's good.
So when they finish their responsibilities, they finish their homework, they're not rushing through it, they've done it, they feel good about it, then they have to like find something else to do. I mean, novel concept. I got to go ride my bike or actually play basketball with my brother outside or do some
live
other
life.
Yes. Live
not
life.
virtually.
Yes. Yeah. 3D life with humans.
Yeah.
And so that was one thing. But in the summer there's not that. So we have a different, it just looks different. But then the other thing we definitely noticed, and this is also just for myself and my husband in our marriage, of just having screens on when we're trying to have a meal together or a discussion together. So that's something that even before kids, we realized, hey, we need to go to a restaurant. And Justin very quickly got to the point where he was like, okay, I know I need to sit with my back to the TV because I'm not going to mean to, but my eyes are going to be on that sports game when my wife is talking to me.
Yes.
And so we learned that pre-kids and all the technology and the phones and things. And so we do have that, like, hey, no screens on at a meal, at the table, no screen. So we'll turn TV off. We turn no phones at the table so that we can actually focus on those relationships with the people right in front of us. If we go to lunch after church with friends, we'll look over and all the teenagers have their phones out and they're all sitting right next to each other, but they're on their phones. And all the parents just look and we're like, okay, phones away, talk to the people that you're right next to. And it's amazing. Before you know it, they're laughing and they're having a good time. And it's just being aware of those because we all do it.
That's good.
And so that's kind of been a thing that we try to stick to, of just no screens. Let's actually have great conversation. And it's funny because usually at dinner at our house, inevitably the conversation will go to an online game that they're all playing, or they start talking about something that Justin and I have no idea about. They're like speaking it's a whole nother language. And we're just like, what? I don't even know if they're speaking English anymore, but they're talking about all the strategies and this and that. And so it's a great opportunity because we then get to ask questions. Justin and I are like, hey, we're here too.
And you're not the expert. And they get to be,
they love explaining it to us. And then we're just like, okay. But it's fun. It's not that it doesn't make me want to go play with them, but I like knowing about it and feeling like I can kind of speak the lingo. And then they're like, oh, Mom, that's cringy. But I love that it makes them cringe. It's like part of my joy in life. So.
I love it. Cringy. That's a word that's new. That wasn't a word that
because I hear it all the time.
Yeah, because I am that. I didn't know. I didn't know I could be that new word. Yeah. Oh my goodness, you've said so many good things. So many, just gold. And I just want to draw them out and bring it to your attention, parents. One of the things she said is that she put a rule in place because it surfaced that you needed it.
Yeah.
So you didn't put a rule in place because a rule needed to be in place. Right. There was a need. The need of and then so the need was dictated by the why behind it, or what was happening was that you weren't getting their work done. And so you went back to, okay, you're not getting your work done, so this is what needs to happen. And so just parents know that. Don't just throw random rules out. Technology's bad, so we need to put a rule in place. Why is technology bad? Define it. It's bad because of this, this, and this. Okay, then what do I need to do to meet that need? I love it that you did that.
Yeah.
And then I love it too that your rule was flexible. I mean, I think so many times that we put a rule in place and we stand by the rule, we'll die on the rule when it's not about the rule at all.
Right.
The rule is only there to do what's best for us. And sometimes what's best for us is actually not to follow the rule. And so I love it that you said, now if they don't have homework and this and this and this is done, then okay, and so I'm not I'm not that personality that has to follow rules. I am the exception to the rule person.
I don't even like the word rule, really. It's kind of like a norm. Hey, this is going to be our norm for during the school year. But it's not norm. Norm doesn't mean all the time. It's just, this is what we're going to assume. This is going to be our default, but it can change.
Yes.
And so,
I love that.
We do try to see, and that's something else that, I love that you summarize that so well, because I do feel like it's when we start seeing something in our family where a culture is starting to slip in some way. There's something that's happening that's not in our norm. Our kids are, and
it's not what you want for your family or your kid. Yeah,
right. It's something that everybody goes, ooh, that doesn't feel right. That doesn't sound right. That doesn't look right. What's going on here? Yeah. Now let's dive into that. And we have noticed probably with technology that has caused more of that than maybe some other things in our family. I know when my kids have been in front of screens too much because they can come downstairs.
And do your kids get like little bloodshot eyes? Like if we have a 3-day weekend and there's a new game that came out that just happened, Michaela will come down with bloodshot. I'm like, oh, buddy, you don't get to play on that screen for 8 hours solid. Don't even look at your
their eyes get purple. You're like, oh. But my kids get really moody and emotional too. They're up there doing competition nonstop, and if they're not winning, like after so much of that, it's gotta it wears them out, and they come down and they're emotional and they're weepy. And I mean, these are boys that are not like this,
right?
They're not like that. So I'm like, oh, you've been gaming too long. We need a break from this. And it's good whenever they can see it. Like, this isn't normal for you.
Right,
What's going on?
right.
Or they start being really selfish. Oh, I didn't get a turn. You're not letting me. My kids are not selfish generally. But when they can start seeing, okay, you didn't want to give your brother a turn on that. You won't let him play your phone. This isn't who you are. What's going on? And it's just like, okay, sometimes technology brings out this selfish side of you. We all have a selfish side. But if technology is triggering that, what can we do? What do you need to do? How can you recognize that and push against it and fight against that? And how can we help you do that? And so, giving your brothers permission to say, hey, you know what, Caden, you're being kind of selfish there. And for you to be, oh, you know what, we did talk about this. You're right. I am. Yeah, you can have a turn on my phone. I'm not playing it anyway. It's just awareness. Sometimes it's just awareness to things you can just become it can become the norm if you don't say, hey, we need to draw attention to this. And so,
oh my gosh, there's so much gold in there, so much, because what's happened there is what I see you doing is that technology is a part of their lives. It is what it is. You can't say no. You can't. I mean, I guess you can, but you're going to build crazy resentment in the relationship when you say no, because it's the world they live in.
Right.
Period. It is.
Right.
But what I loved what you've done is you guys have literally not only embraced technology, but you've welcomed it, you've invited it in, but you're training your children through it. You're actually using it to pull out their character and tell them who they are. And you're actually using technology to help define their identity. You're not selfish. You're generous. You're not a basket case. You're strong and mighty in spirit. And so I love that. So parents, if you are fearful of technology or hesitant of technology, and or if you're the opposite end of it and you don't care and your kids have full range of all technology, then I encourage you to do what Angie's done and press in and use it use it as an insight into your kids' character and how they're being built.
Yeah, it's just looking for coachable moments in all things. And right now technology it's prevalent. It's everywhere. And if it's not necessarily in your home, it's out there and they're getting it. Like, I remember as a kid, we weren't allowed to watch certain movies. And how about this? Everybody else had it.
Yes,
everybody else was watching Pretty Woman and Dirty Dancing. Everybody else was, so back in my day.
Yes.
And that's the other thing that I feel like has really surfaced a lot within our home is this, well, everybody else is. And it's
and don't you remember the line, well, if everybody else jumped off a cliff, would you? And I'm like, maybe. I mean, it depends. I don't know what's at the bottom of the cliff. I don't know. Are we wearing a parachute? I mean, I'm like, I don't know. I can't blanket answer that, Mom. But yeah,
can we post about it? I mean, like, is it get likes?
And so that doesn't fly anymore.
It
and
doesn't.
so it's like I love that. So that's another red flag to press in. When they say everybody else is, then what they're basically saying is that I want to be accepted.
Yes.
I want to do what they're doing. I don't want to be them. Well, maybe they do. Sometimes they do want to be them.
Right.
But what is it? So know that, parents, and press in and say, okay, when my child says everybody else is doing it, don't react and respond to, well, too bad, so sad, but okay, why is that important to you?
Right.
Why is that valuable? Why do you think they're doing it? What are you going to get out of it? How is that, okay, how can we do it so that it works within our family values and it works within us, but it's not going to be that, or what can we do instead of that if you really want to,
Right. Yeah, it's just that, FOMO, that fear of missing out, isn't new. That didn't come along with technology, right? That's been as old as time. No one wants to be left out. No one wants to miss out. And actually, I've had this conversation within my own home, but I've also with several teenagers over the last week or two. It's just been more that phrase of, well, everybody has it. And when they ask me why I don't have this social media platform or why I don't engage in this, I don't have a good answer for that other than my parents are too strict, or my parents are like, that's the only answer I have. And so it's asking those questions. Well, why do you want it? And when the number one answer is because I don't want to be left out, or I don't want to feel different, or I don't want to feel like I'm having to dishonor my parents, it is not even about that thing anymore. It's not even about the social media platform. They're not saying, oh, I want it so that I can have a voice. I want it so that I can store my memories so that it reminds me next year, or, whatever. It's not even those reasons that platform was created for.
Good.
It's that thing that we all are like susceptible to, of that fear of missing out. It's what the enemy did with Eden in the garden, or with Eve in the garden, right?
Yes.
Oh, he just knows you're going to be like him. You're actually missing out on things that he doesn't want you to know. It's that fear, right? And when it's fear, that's the invitation of, okay, let's talk, let's camp out there with our teens. What are you afraid of? What are you missing out on? And then reminding them of truth. And I actually just had this conversation the other day. There's a new series that's on TV that everybody's watching around the world. And my middle schoolers are dying to see it. However, I have done my research on this, and we have adult friends who've watched the entire thing and said, no way. It made me feel cringy, to say the least. And so let's talk about that. So after I talk about it with my teens, my middle schoolers, of, okay, this is what you've heard, and your reason for wanting to watch it is because everyone else is watching it. And then when you dive in and ask more questions, well, it turns out not everybody. It's one or two kids who have watched it and talk a lot about it. And then we say, okay, well, tell me more about those two kids. Do you respect them and honor them? Do you want your life to look like theirs? Are there people you want to walk through life with? And they're like, well, no. Okay. Well, then let's talk about, let's really look at this. And what is that fear of not being a part of the no. And is that what God's called you to just blend in or to be set apart? And
That's so good.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you brought that up. There was a series that was just like that a few years ago, and it talked a lot about suicide. And I think, and in the end, and the kids were caught up in it. And I just remember thinking, okay, where's the line between them we want them in the world, but not of the world. And we want them to be able to, we want them equipped and wired to minister to people, but we don't want them, walking in it. And so what we did is we literally took the series and we went through and we read the summary of each one, the title of it and a summary of each one. And we came to the end of it and we just said, okay, that's as much exposure as you need for this. And that's it. You don't have to watch the whole series. You don't have to get all the visuals. You don't have to hear all the things. Because what you're doing is you're being equipped to minister to those people that are going to be affected by it.
Right.
And they will be, because it's very worldly. It's very evil. It's very dark. And so we don't want to pull our kids out of it completely, but we don't want them to be in the darkness of it either.
Inform them.
And so now they've got enough information to be able to interact and say, episode 17, bad things are going to happen. So we don't even want to watch episode 17. We don't even want to be a part of it.
So good. I love that.
I'll tell my kids, I don't want to watch it. Yeah. I don't want those images. I'm 50. Then I was 50 years old, and I can't manage it. Your 13-year-old brain for sure can't handle it.
We actually had an example of that this summer. One of our nephews came to stay with us for a little while, and so it was just him. He is 16, and then my 17-year-old son, and then my husband and I, and we were just trying to find something we could watch. The younger ones were already in bed, so we're like, okay, let's find something we can all watch. And we looked, of course, we look at Netflix's top picks, and so we were like, oh, we've heard this one's pretty good, so we start watching.
I think somebody else need to pick the top picks. Don't you?
I'm like, this doesn't really reflect what we've been watching.
Exactly. Most watched. Oh, that makes sense.
So halfway through the second episode, we were just like looking at each other like, oh, and both the boys, like, so we just kind of paused it and we're like, okay, should we? Because Justin and I could have just stopped it and been like, nope, we're not watching it. We're done. This is not appropriate.
Well, and let me just speak into that. And so many parents do that and they shut it down. But what that does is that just drives the kid to want to go watch it behind their back.
Right.
And they can. Right. I mean, somewhere, somehow, some way, if they want to watch it. So the whole goal is to meet them right where they are and basically have them have buy-in that they don't want to watch it. Anyway,
Right.
so-
Well, and that's the thing. When I started hearing, we were watching the second episode, and Justin and I are kind of like looking at each other, like, and then you hear my nephew and my son making comments like, "Oh man," and like they're uncomfortable at
Yes.
this point. Is where we're like, okay, pause. You guys want to keep watching this? What do you think? What is this making you feel? How are you? And then they were just like, yeah, I don't think we should continue to watch this. Okay, we agree. I don't want to watch this either. So I just was trying to, and it was good because we were all on the same page. And it wasn't like I'm being the weird one. Now we all are like, no, this isn't good or healthy. We don't want this in our minds. It's awkward enough to watch it with, like, let's just turn it off. And it was good because it was a choice we all made. Everybody made it. No one. And I was just like, okay, that was good. I felt like, okay, that was a good parent win.
That was definitely. Well, the fact that you shut it down and you talked about it.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a parent win. Any situation that you are in, if you stop and you evaluate the situation, what do you think? When you ask your kids, what do you think? Give me your input. I think you'll be surprised that they actually want to do what you actually want to do too.
Yeah, it could have backfired.
So many times though, we draw the line, and that creates the backfire. We're not watching this anymore. I am.
Right,
We create that. But when we open the doors up and, well, what do you think? I think this. What do you think? And brilliant.
Yeah. And I do think that that's right. And the longer I'm doing this with especially an older teenager now, I am realizing that what I assume, he's going to want to, isn't true. It's not necessarily true. It may be what like his flesh would want to do, but when you sit down and you open it up, it then allows the Spirit to come in and for his Spirit to then resonate with the Holy Spirit and to say, okay, my flesh might have wanted that, but in this moment talking about this, my spirit is stronger. And I want to feed that healthy part that the Lord created to flourish inside of me. And so having those conversations, then I can't remember an example where we've had those and he's been like, well, no, I just want to do it anyway.
Right.
Never.
Right.
It's this open conversation where he comes back to, no, ultimately this is what I want. And it's in alignment with what the Lord wants for me. And so, yeah, because we were created with that Spirit.
Yes.
That, converses with the Holy Spirit.
And I think as parents, what we get to do is we get to clear out the noise. We get to clear out what the world is saying and the FOMO and the fear and all that stuff. We get to clear that out of the way so that they see a clear path to this is best. This is God's way. This is what the Holy Spirit is saying. And so I think if we move that noise, what I think happens sometimes as parents, though, is we become part of that noise as we are like, no, you can't do this. You can't, and that's can't is, I want to say kryptonite to a teenager, but it's not. It's actually
it's fuel.
It's fuel. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's fuel. It's like, oh yes, I can.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
Okay, so as we wrap up, is there anything else that you want to share that you have experienced with your boys when it comes to technology wins or even not wins? I mean,
yeah, I think we've learned kind of just making the hard, fast rule for everybody doesn't always work, and it's not always, appropriate for all of them, and it sends a message to each individual, maybe something that you don't intend for.
That's good.
Okay, well, they made this rule because they don't trust me. Well, no, that's not what I mean.
Oh,
but I see how
that's
you think that.
Yeah.
Because we didn't, So, and then the other thing is just that I'm growing in my confidence too, that the 4 boys that the Lord has given me, he didn't make a mistake. Like he meant to do that, and he will equip me to raise each of them, and I will make mistakes and I will mess up and I will overreact, and my fear will react before the Holy Spirit can guide me into taking a deep breath and relaxing a little and saying, okay, now let's navigate through this. And so there's going to be times I'm going to totally mess up and have to go back and apologize and talk through those things. But I think just knowing that the Lord has called me to raise these kids, and ultimately my goal is to connect them to Jesus.
That's good.
To connect them to Jesus, not to just a value system, not just my beliefs, not just my idea of what their behavior should be, but to connect them to Jesus. And so in the situations where my kids have come to me and said, hey, I want to do this because everybody else is, or I want to do this because ... Instead of me just saying, okay, well, here's what I think, which is what I want to do first.
Because I do think,
Right.
I do have an opinion. I do have experience.
I know how this is supposed to go.
Exactly. I know it's best for you.
It's stopping to remember, no, the bigger win here is for, well, what does Jesus say about that to you? When you've talked to him
That's
about
good.
it, what has he told you about
so
that?
good.
Like, Oh, you haven't talked to him? Well, you should do that first. Go talk to him about it, and then come talk to him. And then because I want to hear what he says to you, and then I want to like help. Let's dive into that, because it may be, hey, I want this social media because I've talked to God, and that is where all my peers is there, and it's a mission field that I have no access to. Okay, well, let's. Then yes.
Okay.
Let's do that. Now, what are the dangers and the potential dangers?
Yeah.
How do we help protect you and safeguard you from that and set you up for success in that? But I don't want to keep you, but you need to go. Like, so that's the thing of man, help them to go to the Lord, to wrestle it out with him first, because really, truly, if they can have a conversation with God and make a covenant with him, that is so much stronger than them making a covenant and having a conversation with me.
Because God's everywhere. He can parent them no matter what.
It's true.
In their bedroom by themselves,
Yeah.
God is there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good.
So I think that's kind of where we are with the older ones. With our 10-year-old, it's still more of, hey, we're going to help you through this. But with the almost 14-year-old, 17-year-old, it's a, hey, you get this, like, you and the Lord, then let me help come supplement and coach and navigate that, and then we'll make a final decision on it together.
That's so good. And so what I hear Angie sharing with you guys is that the whole goal is to connect our kids to Jesus, and it's okay to use what the world presents to connect our kids to Jesus. It's okay to use technology. It's okay to use what's on Netflix. It's okay to use the FOMO, the fear, all that stuff, as long as we're connecting them to us and connecting them to Jesus.
Yeah.
And if I feel like that they did that back in the olden days. They used what was happening in their lives then. And so it just happens to be technology.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
thank you so much. It's
Thanks
just
for having
gold.
me.
Oh my goodness, just so much gold. I just so appreciate you.
Well, thanks for having me. This has been fun.
Yes, it has been fun, hasn't it? Angie's fun. Okay, all right. Go be crazy, crazycoolfamily.com.